Picture this. You walk into a room and immediately sense a shift in energy. Not because someone demanded attention or announced their arrival, but because of a quiet, unshakable presence that needs no introduction. The weak instinctively recoil, feeling their facades crumble under an invisible microscope, while the strong find themselves drawn to this magnetic force like metal to a magnet. This is the paradox of the Sigma male, a man who terrifies mediocrity simply by existing and inspires greatness without saying a word. Welcome to Sigma Male Community, where we decode the mysteries of the modern lone wolf and explore the ancient wisdom that shapes unbreakable men. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating dynamics in human psychology. Why Sigma males simultaneously repel the weak and attract the strong, and how the timeless principles of Stoicism explain this phenomenon. This isn't just another personality breakdown, this is a blueprint for understanding true power and the courage to walk your own path. 1. The unfazed observer, emotional restraint as a superpower. The weak crumble under pressure like paper houses in a hurricane, but a Sigma's ironclad control over his emotions becomes their greatest terror. While chaos swirls around him and others drown in their own emotional storms, lashing out in desperate attempts to feel powerful or begging for scraps of validation, he remains unmoved, like a mountain weathering a storm. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius understood this principle deeply when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This isn't about becoming an emotionless robot, it's about achieving what the Stoics called apatheia, freedom from destructive passions that cloud judgment and weaken resolve. This emotional mastery becomes a fortress that manipulators and drama seekers cannot penetrate. They need outbursts to feel powerful, they feed on the oxygen of reaction, but the Sigma denies them this sustenance, leaving them exposed and irrelevant. To the strong, however, this restraint represents artistry in motion. They recognize the tremendous discipline behind every unflinching choice and the refusal to let primal impulses hijack reason. Seneca taught that anger is temporary madness, and the Sigma embodies this wisdom by transforming emotional energy into strategic fuel, proving that true power lies in the sacred pause between stimulus and response. 2. The invisible magnet, effortless loyalty. Weak souls exhaust themselves in the endless performance of chasing approval, flattering, bending, contorting themselves to fit into boxes that were never meant for them. Yet Sigmas attract fierce loyalty without uttering a single plea or desperate request. Their authenticity radiates like gravity, quiet, undeniable, and rooted in unshakable self-worth that comes from within rather than external validation. This phenomenon infuriates the insecure, who interpret his natural ease as a theft of their carefully constructed spotlight. Their transactional world, built on quid pro quo and manipulation, shatters when they realize that genuine respect cannot be bought. It can only be earned through the relentless pursuit of being authentically real. For the strong, this magnetic quality becomes a masterclass in true leadership. They admire how Sigmas build trust through unwavering consistency rather than coercion or manipulation. Loyalty flows to him naturally because he never demands it. Instead, he inspires it through his actions and character. The Stoic principle of living according to nature shines here. When someone chooses to walk away from a Sigma, there are no tantrums, no desperate attempts to cling to what's gone. His detachment ensures that every connection remains pure choice rather than obligation, teaching us the profound difference between valuing substance over sycophancy. 3. The unbreakable mirror, reflection without judgment. Standing in the presence of a Sigma feels like staring into the most honest mirror you've ever encountered. His mere presence, calm, centered, utterly himself, exposes every mask, insecurity, and half-lived lie without him saying a word. The weak recoil in horror, scrambling to hide their fragile facades because they see their own reflection staring back. Small, dependent, desperate for external validation to feel whole. It's not that he judges them. His authentic existence simply makes denial impossible, like sunlight revealing dust that was always there. But the strong lean into this mirror with hunger and determination. They crave this raw, unfiltered feedback, using it as grit to polish their own character and shed the layers of conditioning that have held them back. To them, the Sigma poses the ultimate challenge. If he can stand alone in his truth, completely comfortable with who he is, why can't I? His very existence dismantles their excuses and pushes them toward evolution. Marcus Aurelius wrote, Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. And the Sigma embodies this wisdom by reflecting back not his judgments, but each person's own relationship with themselves. 4. The title Slayer, respect for substance, not symbols. Weak minds desperately hide behind badges of artificial importance, job titles, follower counts, material wealth, using these external markers as armor against their own deep-seated inadequacy. Sigmas see through this glittery facade with X-ray vision, measuring worth by competence, integrity, and the actual weight of one's actions rather than the impressive-sounding labels attached to their name. This terrifies posers to their core because their entire identity crumbles to dust when stripped of these hollow symbols. No perfectly crafted resume impresses him. Only raw capability, authentic skill, and genuine character earn his respect and attention. The strong, however, find this clarity absolutely electrifying. In a world drowning in vanity metrics and Instagram validation, the Sigma's laser focus on essence rather than appearance feels revolutionary. He serves as a powerful reminder that true influence isn't leased from a title or borrowed from external recognition. It's forged in the unforgiving fire of skill, character, and relentless personal development. While the weak desperately cling to hollow status symbols like life preservers, the strong partner with him to build legacies that will outlast trends, fads, and the fickle nature of public opinion. 5. The unpredictable architect, freedom as a weapon. Control freaks completely unravel in the presence of Sigmas because their entire worldview depends on predictability and manipulation. While others cling desperately to scripts, social rules, rigid routines, carefully orchestrated games, he designs his own blueprint for living, following an internal compass that answers to no external authority. His unpredictability isn't chaotic randomness. It's intentional sovereignty, the deliberate choice to live by his own carefully chosen principles rather than society's expectations. The weak panic when they realize their manipulation playbook is utterly useless against someone who cannot be controlled, predicted, or leveraged. The Stoics understood this concept deeply through what they called the discipline of desire, the practice of wanting what happens rather than demanding that life conform to our expectations. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end," and the Sigma embodies this by embracing change and uncertainty as natural parts of existence rather than threats to be controlled. His freedom becomes a weapon not of destruction, but of inspiration, showing others that authentic liberation comes from within rather than from external circumstances or other people's approval. 6. The detached sovereign, immunity to manipulation. Manipulators encounter Sigmas like kryptonite encounters Superman. Their powers simply stop working. Flattery slides off him like water off a duck's back. Guilt trips are met with amused indifference. Drama and manufactured crisis are dismissed with the casual wave of someone swatting away an annoying fly. His self-awareness functions like an impenetrable force field because he knows his own worth too deeply and completely to be swayed by emotional puppeteers who need others' reactions to feel powerful. The weak rage in frustration, literally starved of the emotional currency they depend on to survive and feel significant. But the strong salute this armor with genuine respect and admiration. They recognize his refusal to engage in manipulation games as the highest form of integrity, a man who has achieved what Epictetus called the fortress of the self, where external circumstances cannot touch the inner sanctuary of his peace. In a world overflowing with hidden agendas and ulterior motives, his transparency shines like a beacon in the darkness. He doesn't fight dirty because he doesn't need to. He transcends the fight entirely by operating on a completely different level. To his allies, he becomes the ultimate shield, a partner who cannot be bribed, bullied, or bent to serve someone else's agenda. 7. The burdenless titan, nothing to prove. Sigmas move through the world with the quiet, unshakable certainty of a mountain that has weathered countless storms. No boasting, no desperate posturing for attention, just immutable presence that speaks louder than any words could. The weak feel suffocated by this self-assurance because their entire existence revolves around performing for applause, seeking validation, and proving their worth through external achievements. His indifference to their performance exposes their neediness like a spotlight revealing their desperate hunger for approval. The strong, however, are magnetized by this quality. His complete lack of ego serves as a master key to understanding true power. While others exhaust themselves chasing validation and recognition, He has already achieved the ultimate freedom of not needing anything from anyone. The Stoic concept of autarky, self-sufficiency, flows through him naturally. He teaches by example that worth isn't something to be won in competition with others. It's something to be claimed and owned through authentic self-knowledge and acceptance. In his presence, they shed their own masks and discover that the ultimate demonstration of strength is needing absolutely nothing from the external world for inner peace. 8. The focus fury, laser precision in a distracted world. While society mindlessly scrolls, multitasks, and chases every shiny object that appears on their screen, Sigmas operate with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. Their focus cuts through noise and distraction like a hot knife through butter, exposing the weak's scattered desperation and attention deficit approach to life. Every distraction the weak indulge in, endless comparisons on social media, gossiping about others, following trends, feels pathetic and wasteful under his unwavering laser-focused gaze. He doesn't just work, he architects his life with intentional precision and unwavering purpose. The strong crave this level of discipline and focus with an almost physical hunger. They recognize his tunnel vision as the birthplace of legacy, the sacred space where ordinary men transform into legends. While others dabble in dozens of pursuits without mastering any, he builds empires in the silence of concentrated effort and unwavering commitment. His intensity isn't harsh or intimidating, it's a calling card that beckons others to rise above the mediocrity of scattered attention. He proves through his actions that changing the world begins with the fierce discipline of guarding your attention like a dragon guards its most precious gold. 9. The self-reliant storm, highlighting dependency. Sigmas don't just survive alone, they thrive in solitude, solving complex problems, making decisive moves, and answering to no one but their own carefully cultivated conscience. Their radical independence serves as a harsh spotlight on the weak's pathological reliance on crutches. Mentors they follow blindly, trends they chase desperately, or hollow support systems that collapse under the slightest pressure. The dependents seethe with resentment when they realize they've built their entire lives on borrowed strength rather than developing their own inner resources. For the strong, this autonomy serves as pure inspiration and a roadmap to freedom. They study his remarkable ability to transform solitude from loneliness into strategy, from isolation into innovation. He doesn't preach self-reliance through empty words. He embodies it through every decision and action, demonstrating that true freedom means carrying your own weather regardless of external storms. The Stoic principle of prosok, mindful attention to one's own development, flows through his daily practice. While the weak fear isolation like death itself, the strong follow his lead, learning to transform solitude into their fiercest and most reliable ally. 10. The unattached force, liberation from validation. Sigmas achieve something that both terrifies and inspires. They become genuinely untouchable because they are truly free. No chains bind them to approval-seeking, relationship dependency, or society's suffocating script of expectations. The weak tremble at this absolute liberation because it reveals the golden cages they've willingly locked themselves inside. How do you control, manipulate, or leverage a man who fears no loss because he's already complete within himself? His detachment isn't cold indifference, it's the warm sovereignty of someone who has found his center. The strong, however, recognize this as enlightenment in action. His ability to walk away from unfulfilling jobs, toxic relationships, or stifling expectations isn't heartlessness. It's profound reverence for the self and an understanding of what the Stoics called preferred indifference. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events themselves, but from our judgments about events. The Sigma models this truth perfectly. Attachment breeds fear and neediness, while freedom breeds authentic power. In his wake, the strong begin shedding their own invisible shackles, discovering that liberation is not a destination but a daily choice. 11. The thriving hermit, solitude as power. Where weakness withers in silence like a plant deprived of sunlight, Sigmas weaponize solitude into their greatest strength. What others perceive as loneliness, they transform into clarity, creativity, and unbreakable resolve forged in the fire of self-reliance. The weak pity solitude because they fear the echo of their own emptiness, the confrontation with who they truly are beneath all the noise and distraction. But Sigmas don't just endure alone, they court solitude like a lover, emerging from these periods sharper, wiser, and absolutely undefeated by external circumstances. The strong envy this alchemical transformation with deep respect. They witness him turning isolation into innovation, proving that history's greatest breakthroughs happen not in crowded rooms but in the silent sanctuary of focused thought. Marcus Aurelius composed his meditations not for publication but for his own soul, demonstrating that the most profound insights emerge from honest dialogue with oneself. The Sigma doesn't just endure in his silent kingdom. He reigns there as absolute monarch, forging an unassailable self that no external force can touch or diminish. In that sacred solitude, he discovers what the ancient Stoics knew. True strength comes not from others' recognition but from intimate knowledge of one's own unshakable worth. Here's the undeniable truth that cuts through all the noise and confusion of modern masculinity. Sigmas terrify the weak because they are living, breathing proof that everything society desperately tries to sell you, approval from strangers, status symbols, mindless conformity, is nothing more than an elaborate cage designed to keep you small and controllable. They're not rebels without a cause. They're architects of a higher reality, master builders of a life that operates by principles rather than popular opinion. To the strong, Sigmas serve as an unwavering compass pointing toward uncharted territories of personal power and authentic freedom. They embody a profound truth that echoes through the ages. Freedom isn't given as a gift or granted by permission. It's taken by those brave enough to stand alone in their truth, to walk their own path regardless of who follows or understands. If this message resonates in your bones, if you feel that stirring of recognition in your soul, then you're already walking the path toward your own Sigma awakening. But understanding these principles intellectually is only the beginning of your journey. True transformation happens when you consistently apply these Stoic truths to your daily life, when you choose inner strength over external validation day after day, decision by decision. That's exactly why Sigma Male Community exists. To provide you with the ongoing wisdom, practical guidance, and unwavering support you need to fully embody these principles and live as the unshakable man you were born to be. If this video has opened your eyes to new possibilities or strengthened your resolve to live authentically, then take action right now. Hit that like button to let us know this content serves your growth. Share this video with other men who are ready to break free from society's limitations. Drop a comment below sharing which of these 11 truths hit you the deepest. Your insights not only help us create better content but inspire other members of our community on their own journeys. And if you haven't already joined our brotherhood, subscribe and turn on notifications because we're just getting started. Every week, Sigma Male Community delivers the ancient wisdom and modern strategies you need to forge an unbreakable mindset and live life entirely on your own terms. The path of the Sigma isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Own your power, embrace your journey, and remember, you were never meant to follow the crowd.